am Dr. Joan Coleman, and the Exchange is exciting.
I'm Denise Cavalier. The Exchange is real.
I'm Carolyn Quaker. The Exchange is empowering.
I'm Donna Hutchinson. The Exchange is thought-provoking.
The Exchange, a Let Me Be Me podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Exchange. I am Dr. Joan Coleman. And listen, we're going to talk about liars today. And liar is a person who tells lies. Yes, that's it. Phony, a deceiver, con artist. You know, the list goes on. But before we get into it, let me introduce the ladies. Ladies.
I am Donna Hutchinson. So happy to be here today.
Carolyn Quaker.
Denise Cavalier.
And again, I am Dr. Joan Coleman, and this is The Exchange. Ladies, we're talking about liars today, all right? Have anyone ever lied to you and act like you're the one that's wrong? Do you have a story about that?
It's funny, in preparation for the show, I thought about it a lot, and I was like, I don't have a wealth of stories to tell, and how lucky am I? Because I think always intention is important with most things in life, including lies, where it's like, if somebody's only intention is to hurt you with it, that's one thing. But if it's kind of a little lie, and that's what I can only think of.
Well, what's a little lie, ladies?
To protect you, to make you feel, to maybe not hurt you.
And you know what? I think I know what you mean, because I do it. And, let's talk about us lying.
Yeah.
Have anyone ever told you a story like something has happened? Bob and his wife broke up, girl, let me tell you, and she's filing for divorce. And then like Bob comes over and said, I'm going through a rough time. And you're like, what? What happened? And he tells you the whole story. You pretend as if you don't know. Have you ever done that?
Absolutely.
I'm notorious for that. Have you ever tried cheesecake? No. And you had a piece of cheesecake last night, right?
Yeah.
So has anyone ever even told a little tiny white lie that you said, it's to protect the other person? Has that ever happened, Carolyn?
Yeah, actually. Just some people I know having some relationship issues, and not even a husband-wife friends. And, one told me kind of their side and the other one told me their side. And then each of them was like, well, what should I do? And I was like, I don't know anything. And I knew, but I wasn't gonna, so I did. I lied. I said I didn't know what they thought of the other. And I just, asked them to kind of figure it out on their own, gave them like little, general advice, like how to handle it, but not what they had said.
Yeah. And the surprise face, like, what? Oh, no. And you already know the whole story. So that's a lie too. We're going to call that a lie. Carol, Denise, have you ever experienced you're telling a little lie?
Oh, for sure. I think we use lies. I was thinking about this beforehand too, that we do use those small lies to protect either ourselves or others. Like we use it when we don't want to go to that place. Like you said, when somebody asks us something and we know it's not going to be fruitful. So we'll use a small lie then. And also to protect other people. We don't want to hurt other people. So I think we're tempted every day with little white lies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I often feel bad though. I'm like, dang, I'm not supposed to lie. Oh my gosh, I'm lying. And I feel bad, but how do we handle that? The feeling we're trying to protect others. We're trying to do good, but it's a lie. How do we handle that feeling of, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have said that. I should have just said, I know. How do you handle that?
I think coming back to intention, remembering what you're trying not to hurt. So even if you feel that edge of guilt coming in, which is human nature, I think that's totally fine. But if you remember the intention is not bad and the intention is to protect others, I think that always kind of brings you back to like the purpose of that.
Do you feel
little white lie?
Little white lie. Do you feel like that?
So my main story about lying that plays in my head is that my mother always told me I was a really bad liar. So she said my entire childhood, probably into my young adulthood, she just totally knew if I wasn't telling the truth. So I think I tend to only lie when I feel like the intention is okay, because that's the only way I can actually get through it without it being super obvious that I'm lying. So I think I don't have the guilt. I think I know I've done the right thing in that situation. But it is kind of funny, right? Because we aren't supposed to lie. So it's
Right.
like,
It's tough. It's tough because sometimes we even lie to protect ourselves. Have you ever done that? Like, oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble. But there's nothing so bad that you have to lie. But have you ever lied to protect yourself, Denise?
Oh, absolutely. I think that kicks in like right away if something comes up and you're just not willing to, be truthful about it in the moment. Usually it'll eat me alive, though. It'll eat me up. Like later on, I'll be thinking about it. And it sort of depends on the lie and who you're talking to. But again, that justification too kind of creeps in. And then you have the scale of lies. Is it a little lie? Is it, and again, the intention of the lie is really important. But absolutely, I think that kicks in immediately for me that how am I going to cover this up for now, at least?
Yeah. And there's a quote that I saw yesterday. It says, no man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar.
That's a huge point. I'm often, when people tell big lies, I'm like, how do you keep it together?
Yeah.
How I can barely keep my own true life together. How can you keep your spun web of lies together?
Right.
But people do. People do.
Yeah.
It's wild.
And it's crazy because guess what? I am this way, and this is just the way I am. I'd rather you tell me the truth than lie. I don't care if it hurt me. I don't care if I'm crying for 3-4 days. Just tell me the truth. If you don't want to do something, say, I don't want to do it. If something is wrong or you think I did something to you, tell me. Don't hold on to it and then, make looking like everything is okay. Have you ever experienced someone just lying to you for no reason and you're just looking like, really? And then you're nodding like, okay. Have that ever happened to you, Carolyn? Any stories?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I'm sure it has, but nothing is coming to me.
Oh boy.
I feel like that, like at this point in life, like you said, it's so much easier to be truthful and honest, even if it hurts. You think it hurts the other person and it hurts you, and definitely there's emotions with that. But also, it just keeps everything just so much clearer. I'd rather get stuff out and get it on the table and keep the energy clear than having all the static and anxiety and chatter in my head about worrying about things. Why not just be honest? It's 2022. We've all been through a lot.
Right.
Let's just knock it off and call everything what it is. And then we have so much less to keep track of in our heads.
I know, there's so much. And then you have the people, right? Okay, so you want them to be truthful to you. You want them to tell you the truth. And then when you catch them in the lie, they act like they're the victim. Like, oh, you hurt me. I can't believe that you thought I would say that. But you did. Like, how do you guys navigate through that when somebody is telling you a lie and then they act like they're the victim when you catch them? Has that ever happened to anyone?
I think that's their defense mechanism for, not fessing up. So now they've lied, now they've been caught. And so we all know it, like the vibe is, we know you're lying. And for me, patience is key because lies always rise to the surface if you just wait long enough. And you could also, look for ways to kind of expose sort of in a quiet way. Because a lot of times people that are defensive like that are going to remain defensive and become even more defensive. And so sometimes patience is key in really letting everything unfold.
How about you, Carolyn? I like that. Lies will rise to the top. I really like that.
As I'm trying to think about these situations, I'm remembering my father-in-law who's gone. He lied a lot. And we had to catch him. And it was kind of funny when you caught him because he didn't fess up, even though it was like right there. Like, there was like evidence right there. There was no way. But he would just do this little act thing. And that's when we realized, oh my gosh, he's a way better actor than we realized. But I don't know. It's kind of like, I think in a way I almost felt really sad for him that like he felt like he had to just keep going with it. And it's like, we've caught you. It's over. Like, admit it. Let's move on.
It's like you said, Donna, it's a web. It goes bigger and bigger, bigger. And he might be like, I'm already deep in this lie. I'm just going to keep going with it. And what about those people that just, I tend to look at them and I nod. I'm like, oh wow. And then I'm just like, that doesn't add up. Why don't they know that the story doesn't add up? Why do you think that is?
That's infuriating. It's so hard to if you know what's going on, that's really hard to keep quiet. And I think Denise spoke on something that's really difficult, which is that patience of kind of letting time pass to let the truth rise. But that's really difficult when you know things are so blatantly incorrect, but you just kind of got to wait it out for everybody else to catch on. That's really tricky to navigate.
Yeah, and they play on your emotions too, because when I do it, I'm guilty of saying, but last week you said that such and such were doing that a different way. Well, it all goes together, they would say, I will call you out, but nicely, but wait a minute, I thought you said, like that. That's how I do it. Have you ever called anyone out on a lie? Any one of you ladies?
Absolutely.
What did you do? How did you do it? Tell me about it.
I think I operate like you do. I'll call it out. If there's some blatant, facts that on the surface, you kind of backtrack, and then they start getting even more squirrely about it, sort of digging their little hole, and creating that web. But if they're going to be really resistant and still not tell the truth, that's where the patience kicks in. But I think I operate like you do, Dr. Joan. Initially, I would call out some facts that are on the surface.
Yeah. And how do they backpedal through it, or?
Yeah, I think that's usually when they start digging their hole, they're, and then it becomes even more obvious that they're lying and that they're looking for a way out. And that at that point, that's usually when I let it go a little bit, because then I feel like, it's churning a little bit with them. And
And you just make an agreement with yourself. I know that's a lie.
Exactly. Like, I know where you're coming from.
Where you're coming from, and can't trust you anymore. Carolyn,
well, that's
about
the thing.
That.
Can't trust you anymore. I'm remembering something that happened maybe 2 years ago or so. And it was actually like a big enough deal that I went back to the one person and I was like, so I heard this happened and I heard you said this and I'd really like to talk about it because it was something they had said about me. She was like, oh, I never said that. And then you're there going, okay, so the person who said they said it to them, like, who's right? Like, who's lying? Who's, and then you have to, judgment call. Who do I trust? And in the end, the person who was like, oh, I never said that, I really didn't believe her. And so, you know what? She's not in my life anymore. We have some common friends. I might see her at some things. But like, for me, it's like, I mean, can I say it? Like, she's kind of dead to me. Because why would I want her? Like, I guess she wasn't a close enough friend anyway. So there was no benefit of the doubt. There was no real desire. But yeah, it was like, I don't need you in my life. I have too many other people in my life who are like way better. And I don't know. I wanted to have a really good discussion with her and find out why she had said what she said so that we could both improve, and she just,
just kept on lying.
She just kept on lying.
And was it because she's a friend, was it difficult to cut that liar out of your life? Or was it like, I'll find more friends. I already have enough people in my circle.
She was like, more than acquaintance, but not a really good friend. So I think it wasn't that hard. It wasn't that hard. I have another situation with somebody else where she's such a good friend that like we had to just choose to get past it because I wasn't willing, Am I a little more cautious with her? Absolutely. Right. But because she was the other part of that same situation,
I love what you said. You don't have to keep people in your life that's not for you. If they're lying to you, I mean, who else? What else are they saying to somebody else? And you don't have to keep a liar in your life or somebody that pretends, oh, I'm your friend. That's a lie too, And it's not a little white lie. It's not a protective lie. It's just a blatant lie. You're not my friend because you're back behind my back talking junk and stuff like that. Have you ever experienced that, Donna? Have you ever cut anybody out of your life for lying to you?
I can't think that specifically that circumstance, but I think it always comes back to there's a something in front of you that is, frustrating or annoying, and you impulsively want to jump in that and tell the truth and speak on it.
And sometimes you don't get that sort of closure in situations. So then the flip side is like, how do you find that peace no matter what? So if you cut somebody out of your life and you don't even have the chance to kind of call them out, but you have to find that peace within yourself. That's really tricky too, because it's like we have the one side of letting people go and then finding peace back within for you and being okay with it without any sort of crunchy guilt.
Yeah, it's hard. It takes a lot to just let go and be at peace with it, because sometimes you really care about the person, right? Sometimes you're like, can't believe they lied like that, and you still probably care about them, but you have to ultimately, if it can't take all the lies all the time. How do you let go? Did you ever experience letting go of somebody who's lied to you?
I think really, when I was thinking about it before the program, my main issue with lying is not so much anger at the liar, because obviously they're in a place where they have some work to do, like we all do.
Yeah.
And, but the trust issue is what it kills it. So it changes your relationship, as you said, Carolyn. Like when you can't trust somebody, and most of the time I think we choose not to be in the company of people that we can't trust because it doesn't feel good.
Right.
So I think it just means maybe altering the relationship, or, in your mind, what, where you can go with things, and, how much you can open up. So I think that's how I deal with it. I might just change the scope or the feeling or whatever, the nature of the relationship based on my knowledge. And then, forgiveness really comes into it, and allowing that person to do the work that they need to do, and giving them the opportunity to come back into your life if they
so desire.
Yeah.
I like what you said. I like about forgiveness, because really forgiveness is for you, not for the other person. So if they lie to you, you decide to let them go. I think that's okay. You could forgive them, but they don't need to come. They don't need to come back, especially if they haven't changed. Because some people play on your emotions. They play on your emotions. They're like, oh, I just said it just so you don't. It depends too on the scope, like you said. If they're a real friend and they're like, well, I was trying to protect you, I was trying to not hurt your feelings, then maybe. But if it's just somebody that really hurt you and they don't even care, let them go, forgive them, and move on. And another thing, go ahead, Donna, you was going to say.
I was going to say, I feel like that's something I learned very recently. You don't have to have the same relationship with everybody in your life.
No.
You can pick and choose how close you want people to be. And as soon as people reveal themselves, believe them. And you know what kind of distance to keep them. And that's really important too. So you don't necessarily have to cut them out of your life, but you're like, okay, you lied to me once. We're good. I'm onto it.
Once a person show you who they are, believe them. And that's what we do, right? We are trusting people. We're empathetic people. We like to give people a chance. But once you start hurting and start lying, that's not good. You got to take a look at yourself. And I have here, the most dangerous lies are those who think they're telling the truth. Those are the most dangerous lies. They look in your face, they're lying, but in their heart, it's the truth. Have you ever met anyone like that or experienced anything like that, Denise?
Some people are really practiced at lying. They're good liars. They, like you say, they don't flinch. They can look you right in the eyeball. And those are the ones, you're right, that are the most dangerous.
Yeah.
But, like I said before, the truth always rises to the surface. So you're really spending a lot of time with that person. Things sort of start to come to light. But there's some really practiced liars out there that are very, very good at it. And again, they can almost believe their own lies after a while because they tell them so much, and often without cause. Like some people lie for no reason.
No reason.
No reason. And I don't really understand that, like what comes in behind that. But yeah, some people are really good.
That I know somebody, I know somebody that I deem to be a person like that. And it's just fascinating to me to just lie and believe it and act in it and just live in it. And it's just like, wow, after you're found out and they're still carrying on like that was their truth. And it's just mesmerizing to me, like, wow, really? Has you ever experienced somebody telling such a lie that they believe it?
No, I'm actually thinking about something else. What about like lies of omission? Like, I don't even know if that's the right way to say it, but like
Mhm.
I have a situation where somebody is upset with me about something, and we're like 7 or 8 years into this, and they've told other people what they're upset about, but not me.
Oh.
And those other people won't tell me, and this person won't tell me. And I don't know if it's a lie, but it's like weird, right? That like there's this information out there, and they're not willing to like
Mhm.
open up and just hold it in, and it's like really just so damaging. Just
Yeah.
and I guess partly whatever I think this person is upset about, I feel like it is a lie. Like I feel like she's like twisted something, and like I don't know, it's a cancer. It's a
Yeah.
cancer. It's super super negative.
Lies of omission. I mean, that, like I said, just tell the truth.
Mhm.
Why are you just going around acting like there's nothing wrong? Oh, it's okay, but you're not telling the truth.
It's such a waste of space.
Energetic space. You're taking up so much where you could
Yes.
kind of just clear it and move on, but instead, like all these
Yeah.
people know it, like you're saying, and you're holding the wondering about it as well. That's just such a waste of
Yeah.
time and energy.
Oh, so
Yeah.
don't lie by omission. Just tell the truth. And so we want to go back, and I want to say this again. No man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. So if you're one that said, I'm telling the little white lies, I'm going to change. I'm going to stop saying I didn't eat the cheesecake so I could get another piece of cheesecake. I'm going to change, I promise. But we've got to stop with the lies of omission, the little white lies, the protective lies. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard, but we have got to stop. So ladies, what are some tips you could give to help somebody stopping with the little lies, the little white lies, the lies of protection, the emotional lies,
How much do you want to carry? And how much do you want to put down? It's so much
Ooh.
easier to put down and not, if you're truthful, you don't have to carry anything. Second question, does that mean I have to stop lying to my kids? That's a whole nother show. That's still fine, everyone.
That's still fine.
Yeah.
You're 5 to 10, right?
Parks closed, kids. Yeah.
I'm wondering if I don't know, maybe we need to get just more practice, more
Mhm.
ways to say the truth. Like, and maybe say to the person, do you really want to know? Like,
Yeah.
do you really want me to be honest? But maybe just, I don't know. I think it is a great idea though, right? You're just letting it go. Let it put it down and find a way. Because I think if we're really honest with ourselves, we're probably doing a lot of little ones.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I love the idea of like preparing someone to receive that as well, receive your truth, and then they're going to have emotions about it as well. So you kind of preparing yourself for that. So I think we're all still learning that. We're all still learning that like emotional maturity to be able to hold all of that.
9 out of 10 times, if you say, are you sure you want to hear this? Are you sure you want me to tell you? And you're like, yes, I'm sure. And you tell them, what happens?
They don't really.
Oh my God, it's all, I can't believe that. I didn't believe it. Thought you were my friend. Why did you say that? You said you were ready. Can I tell you a story? I remember when I was younger, right? And my favorite cousin that I love, she came over and she had an afro, right? And I said to her, oh my gosh, what did you do to your hair? You look like Florida Evans from Good Times, right? That's a show on TV called Good Times. She was so upset with me. She was so upset with me. She eventually forgave me because, sometimes I'm just like that. She forgave me, but not everyone is ready for your truth. First of all, she didn't ask me. I just was like, why you do your hair like that? You look like Florida Evans, from Good Times. Nobody asked me my opinion or my truth, but I spilled it out and she was so upset. She eventually forgave me because she loves me. And have you ever just blurted out a truth that no one asked you for?
All the time. Yeah, I tend to, say too much. And I think I'm learning at this stage of my life to say less.
Mhm.
And also to be, that whole speak the truth in love thing, really being cautious with my words and really looking firsthand before talking about, do they really need to hear my truth right now? And timing
Yeah.
for me is everything. I can be really bad with timing. So I'm trying to be more cautious.
Oh boy, you're like me, but probably better because I am one that will be like, especially to family, my close family. I'm like, girl, why do you look like that? I am good. And even to close friends, I could be a little blunt, speaking the truth in love, but it doesn't look like that because
No.
of the way I say it. So that's good. We have to learn to speak the truth in love if we're not going to lie. Right, Donna?
Yeah, always being truthful. You always have to dance around people's feelings. I mean, yourself too. You don't want to end up having regrets. I've certainly done that as well.
Yeah.
So it's always having patience, coming from love.
Mhm.
That will never serve you wrong. It's just us always remembering that. It's a big piece
I'm
of it.
thinking too, I probably say the wrong thing quite a lot. But I think sometimes I'm good at buffering it. If I'm really thinking clearly and I've thought it out, start with something really positive,
Yeah.
kind of build them up and be like, and this is something that you need to work on. Maybe that softens it a bit.
Yeah, I did something just Sunday. I saw this little kid just gazing into space. It's my son, my brother's son. And I'm like, let me find out something's wrong with him. And then when I went home, I thought about it. I was like, Joan, why would you say something like that? But as you said, I am practicing, and every day it's a practice. Every day you get up, it's a new day to try again and get it right. Don't beat yourself up if you tell that white lie, if you tell that protective lie, if you tell lies of omission, if you just over there lying for no reason. I mean, over there lying for no reason. Listen, give yourself a pass, okay? But practice telling the truth in love. Carolyn, any last tip for somebody?
I think remember that if you're not speaking the truth, man, that is such a negative energy.
Mhm.
It's so bad. So yeah, work on finding the ways to get the truth out. And it's helpful to those around you that you love, or maybe not so much love, and it's going to be helpful to you.
Yeah. Denise, any last tips?
I think really looking at our own intentions about why we're saying whatever we're saying, whether we're lying, hopefully not, or whether we're giving somebody feedback, is examining our own intentions. Am I saying something just so I can get it off my chest, or, so I think that's helpful for me, is to look at my own intentions.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Look at your intentions. I like that. Donna, last tips.
I think sometimes it's so uncomfortable for us to come from this sort of place now, but being honest, but I do think we're moving towards that. So I think the more we are examples of that and show people that you can be honest, you can sandwich things in love the way Carolyn described, the more you parrot that for other people, the more they can receive it and then share it out as well. So I think being the example of that as best as we can is always important as we kind of move into this more honest place in life.
And that is so true. I hope you listen to these ladies. They know what they're talking about. Listen, sometimes it just happens. Sometimes it just slips out. Sometimes you just do it intentionally. But next time you go to tell a lie, think about it. Think about it. And maybe change the direction you're going in. It's always good to tell the truth. Nobody could come at you if you tell the truth, right, ladies? So tell the truth. Try it. And if you're like, it's hard for me, if you're like Carolyn's grandpa that just couldn't stop lying, you can start doing some affirmation. Today, I'm going to tell the truth. Today, I'm going to be honest. Today, I'm going to speak life and love into somebody. Today, I'm going to be intentional about what I say. You can do it. We believe in you. You believe in them, right?
Absolutely.
And guess what? We're all a work in progress. So don't even beat yourself up and don't worry about it. You're going to get it right if you practice and if you want to get it right. Right, ladies? This is the Xchange